Hello there, ladies and gentlefolk. I will immediately address the elephant in the room. Yes, I am wearing a hat. I don't usually wear a hat in my videos because I like to show off my bald, denuded head. And denuded is a word that refers to vultures and condors and other birds that don't have a whole lot of feathers on their head. Yes, I am wearing a hat. And this is the first year the Cleveland Indians decided to ditch the Chief Wahoo logo as being racist. So I found the most racist hat in the world. Now, you really have to think a minute why this hat's offensive, because check it out. Hopefully you can see that it's a old-fashioned Chief Wahoo, not the new, more politically correct Chief Wahoo, but it's the old-fashioned hook nose Chief Wahoo. And the part that makes it offensive is that it's a patch that I had glued onto the hat for Boy Scouts, and it is a Chief Wahoo Indian with the big hook nose and the red face wearing a Boy Scout hat. Now, the last thing any Native American needed was to learn anything that the Boy Scouts could teach them. So I don't know if this was some kind of weird merit patch or something, or I don't know. But I saw it, and it cost me like $5. I saw it on eBay, and I got to buy that. That is the most offensive thing I ever seen, because a Boy Scout, earning his merit badge, what a Native American called that was Tuesday. That was every day they were earning their merit badges out there in the woods, surviving. Uh, So yeah, that hat cracks me up. Unfortunately, unfortunately, the patch is kind of filthy. The hat is old and comfortable, but the patch, somehow the glue come through on the sides here. So it's kind of gnarly looking. But yeah, that hat's something else, isn't it? It's a old fashioned hook nose, red face Injun wearing a Boy Scout hat. So yeah, that's really messed up on a couple of levels. Anyways, this is supposed to be a Benzo update, so I'll tell you how I'm doing with that. If you're following my story, I haven't checked in for a couple of days, but if you're following my story, I was doing quarter milligram for 5 days straight, and then I had a cortisone shot on my knee, which fixed my knee up, but screwed up my heart. So after that, I went off the rails, and I got like we're talking about spreads between doses. I got like a 13, a 12, a 7 hours, 7 hours, 13 hours, 19 hours, all over the place. 12, 14, 10 and a half hours, and then 3 hours, and so I'm all over the place with that. And I had last week I had three difficult appointments to go to, so I was taking half a milligram to go to sleep one night before an appointment, and then half a milligram to get to the appointment. I did that like 3 times. So yeah, so up until the 18th I wasn't doing too good with that, and then my last spreads in hours is 12 and a half hours, then 20 hours. I did 29 hours, which is the most between doses, most time between doses since I was cold turkeyed involuntarily on the 18th of January. So 29 hours. So I got a 20, a 29, a 21, and a 22 yesterday. So this is my 5th day at a quarter milligram a day. So I'm doing better with that. I got this other tricyclic antidepressant called Doxepin that had prescribed to me at a sleeping dose of 10 milligrams, which 10 milligrams is way too powerful for me. So I've been pouring out some of the powder, opening the capsule, because it's not a pill you can chop up, and pouring out some of the powder. So I've been using that. That's indicated for insomnia, especially the kind of insomnia where you sleep for an hour and wake up and you're wide awake, or you sleep for 2 hours and you wake up and you can't go back to sleep and you're swearing to yourself. So it's anti-swearing to yourself, sleeping aid, an antidepressant. I don't like it. I don't like the way I feel this morning. I took a probably like 3 milligrams of it, which is a third of what I was prescribed last night. I don't like it. I've been having some weird dreams with it, but it does help with the alprazolam withdrawal. Today I feel awful. I'm not sure why I feel awful, but I'm on track as far as this whole process of withdrawal. I'm back on track after things got a little crazy last week. Because like last week, like my spreads were so crazy between doses. It was like 3, 12, 8, 13, 24 hours. That was the first day I took Doxepin. And then 9 hours, 10 hours, you know, it's like up and down. And now I got like it between 20, you know, I'm going 20 hours between doses. Man, I hope my brain snaps back and I'm not like sliding into early senility or anything. That's one of the things they say about alprazolam is they've been telling me this at this Coleman place especially, but I read it elsewhere that they link prolonged alprazolam or Xanax use to early cases of dementia. And since I don't have a whole lot going for me besides my brain, yeah, that's not good. I don't look good this morning either, man. I'm all pale and stuff. I don't feel good this morning. I'm trying to be cheerful and shit as best as I can. I did get to feed the raccoon this morning because which screwed one of my cats out of his food, but I had 2 dishes of food. This raccoon was so hungry I lowered down one dish and he come out of the backyard area. He was very determined, and the one cat that was by the dish was like, oh shit, the raccoon's coming, I'm not going to get to eat. And I hurried up and lowered down another dish and swung it over, because I got these, I don't know if I explained this before, but I got like dishes on strings that I lower 15 feet down out the window to feed my cats, so I don't have to go outside to do it, and I don't want them out front. So that's the way I feed them. So anyways, I swing this dish back and forth and about whack this raccoon. He don't even care, man. He just wades into that food. So one cat got to eat and one cat didn't get to eat. I have to get the other cat later. But yeah, that was funny. It's like, okay, if you're starving that bad that you're going to come out in the daylight, because that was like after sunrise, go ahead, man, eat up. I like raccoons anyway. They make me happy. But they make the one cat that didn't get to eat too happy to watch the raccoon eat his food. But I'll get him later. And, well, I'm still lifting weights. My arm is not visible, but my arm is toned up at least. It's not all old man flabby. It's kind of got some muscle tone to it. You know, you can't pull a lot of skin off of it, which is cool. I've only been doing that for about 3 to 4 weeks, so can't expect much in the way of bulk. I'm doing 30-pound dumbbells. That helps with the withdrawal, if you can get away with it. I mean, I lifted weights while I was feeling withdrawal symptoms a couple of times, and it's not fun. It's kind of weird to be lifting weights and hanging them over your toes and stuff, and then start seeing spots from your withdrawal, or just like things start to look weird, and you're like, whoa, got to be careful. Yeah, that helps. The exercise actually helps a good deal. I started getting out of the house more and going out and hanging at my relative's house, watching TV. I hate feeling inhibited on here, like I didn't want to say their relationship to me, and you know, I wish the world was peopled in such a way that we could all be like open and honest and not have to be guarded all the time. Wouldn't that be nice? You just like be yourself and not have to worry. But that's not how the way the world is. Mean people suck, like the bumper stickers say, and the world's full of mean and also twisted people, which I'm very familiar with twisted people. If you watch my videos, you probably know that. And it's really not that they're bad people, it's just that their wiring when they were getting their wiring installed as children, it just kind of got installed and works in such a way that doesn't necessarily go well with people with more conventional wiring in their heads, if you can follow that, which that wasn't very good, but whatever. Me pointing out that it's not very good ain't gonna make it any better. So yeah, another thing that happened yesterday that was irritating and was at the I was like at the 20-hour mark between doses too, is the roofers disconnected my satellite dish. So I'm actually watching TV for a change, which I know people say this, but I don't watch a lot of TV. I got other things to occupy my time, generally speaking, and I watch a lot of whatever shows I watch. I generally watch over the computer anyway, but I got the TV mainly since I'm in Indians territory up here in northern Ohio to watch the Cavs and the Indians and other sporting events. So anyways, last night the roofers disconnected my satellite dish while I was actually watching TV, in the mood to watch TV, and was watching this old Law and Order reruns. I'm like, son of a bitch, I don't want to deal with this, you know. So I open up the window and I'm like, hey, Mr. Boss Man, to the head roofer guy. And he's like, what? And I'm like, y'all disconnected my satellite dish. And he's like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, you need to see about reconnecting that. So they went up there and they did something or another. And then they knocked on my door. And they lied to the landlord and told him that, no, you know, we didn't mess with it at all. And it's like, I talked to the landlord and I said, man, they're giving you a song and dance. Because why would a dude come back to my door and ask me if I had any improvement if they weren't messing with it? And so anyways, it looks like my landlord's, it's going to cost me like $95 to get it reconnected right, because I called the company and they tried to do it remotely. And it's really irritating because it's going to cost me money. And I'm just sitting there minding my own business. It's not my fault. It's the roofer's fault. And the roofers are hired by the landlord. So the landlord's responsible for the roofers. But when I talk to the landlord, he's like, well, you know, I don't even have to let people put satellite dishes on my roof. It puts holes in my roof and, you know, yada, yada, yada. Basically, I don't want to pay that $95. So, you know, I don't like thinking about it. You know, I got enough to think about with the withdrawal and all my problems, all my issues. I don't like having extra things to think about. That nonsense. So I talked to the other guy who got disconnected in the building, and he's not happy about it. They're going to charge him like $150 to come out and fix what the roofers did. And I missed the basketball game last night, which was annoying because I guess Houston came back and actually, after a 41-point loss, won in Golden State, which is amazing. And I didn't get to see that. And I still don't have any TV today, and I already talked to him, and I was like, I don't want to pay the $95. You know, I want to see if it's connected first. And that was a bad decision because that just means I have to do it today. I thought I'd talk to the landlord first about it, but you know how that goes. It's always the same in life, people. It's like you fuss, you're difficult, you willful. That's how you get things done. It's like so the guy next to me that's disconnected, he's more on that type of person. I'm the type of person I don't need this aggravation. I don't want to fight with people. I'm very good at logic and argument, so I'm almost always right, and it doesn't. You know, that just annoys people because, you know, you just point to them and say, look, you know, I could have told the landlord that yesterday. The roofers are responsible for disconnecting it, and they shouldn't have been messing with stuff that until they knew what they were disconnected. And unfortunately, you're responsible for the roofers, so you're responsible for this. You know, but I'm not going to do that because the guy's already fighting me and preparing for that argument. He's already like, well, I didn't have to let satellite dishes get put on the roof in the first place. He's already like hedging his bets toward that argument. I'm like, I see it coming. I'm like, Jesus, I don't need that. So yeah. Anyways, that's like a trivial nonsense. So the Benzo thing is good so far. I think today is the 23rd. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So I think I only used like 4 pills to cover 7 days. Yeah, 4 pills to cover 7 days. So that's pretty good. I'm ahead on my script. And I would like to stockpile. I would like to continue at a quarter. This morning, not having a good morning. I mean, my anxiety's okay. I'm just not feeling good otherwise. So I won't be taking anything. before the afternoon at least. Says I took a pill at 5:30 p.m. So, yeah, that would be 24 hours if I went till 5:30. Okay, well, I don't know if I got anything else to talk about, waste your time with. I guess I should go about my day. I don't, nothing's really springing to mind anyway, but I thought, I'd check in and let you know how I was doing. And hopefully you got a kick out of the hat, because the hat on the hat is what makes it funny. So, yeah, I wish I could think of something else to talk about, but my brain's not good this morning, and I didn't eat, don't have a lot of food in the house, so apparently I have many things to do, which I have to pay bills. I have to deal with the not having any TV situation. I have to I got all this shit I gotta do. So that's why I want to waste time on here talking to y'all, because that's much more pleasant than the day that I have planned of the many things I have to do, which I start out the morning without eating breakfast, washing dishes that have sat in the sink for a long time that I didn't want to do. Oh, wow. But yeah, I don't know if Doxepin, I don't know, that's kind of like probably not a fashionable drug nowadays, because my doctor didn't even know what it was. But if anybody's got any experience with that, that's actually helping with the withdrawal. Oh, that's what I was going to mention is, unfortunately, my efforts to detect volume with my volume detector not going all that well. So I'm kind of like doing this without volume, which I'd rather have volume. It just makes the whole thing easier, and it helps me spread out my doses more. The Doxepin helps, because it helps you sleep. So, but yeah, somebody on here mentioned it's like almost impossible to quit alprazolam without using Valium or some kind of other chemical help. And I don't know if, impossible might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but it is hard. It is very difficult because of the way it peaks and valleys. It leaves your system, and that's when the withdrawal hits you. It leaves your systems quickly, and other benzos don't do that. So I'm not going to give up on my volume detector, though. I'm going to go out looking around, see if I can find that tree that had that squirrel in it, where I found the volume the other day, laying on the side of the road. Yeah, I wish life wasn't so difficult. And for you any young people that are watching this, this is something that old people don't really, I don't know if they talk about that much. They didn't talk about that much to me. But man, life gets harder and harder. It doesn't get easier. What gets easier about life is you're able to take things more in stride. Everything isn't like, you kind of like mellow with age. That's about the only good thing about getting old. Everything else is harder. So I had a nephew that I was kind of, here I am talking about stuff I shouldn't be talking about, but I had a nephew that I was kind of a father figure to, and that's what I told him. I said, make hay while the sun is shining. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, when you're young is when you get things done. Make hay, put it in the barn. Yeah, good deeds, especially good memories and money. When you're young, that's when you need to stock up on that shit and put it in the barn for later, because life don't get easier, it gets harder. A lot of people don't like to think about that, I know, and it's kind of hard for me not to think about right now, because I got so many things to do, and I feel like crap, and I look like crap, and I got no energy, and all I could do is laugh at that's pretty much my response to most things, is just like to just laugh about it, because it's what else can you do? I mean, I can get mad about not having TV and it's a fucked up situation, and I can get mad about the way people are, where they're like, the guy's like, I'm already spending like $11,000 on the roof, and I was like, you don't point out the obvious, because arguing is no way to go through life, arguing and fighting, but it seems like people make you have to do it. But I'm not going to argue with the guy, and it's pretty clear what happened. I mean, if you're responsible for the roofer's behavior because you hired him and the roofer's fucked up, is on you, is not on me. I did not disconnect my own TV. I was sitting there watching TV, minding my own business when this shit happened. So, but I just don't want to fight with. I hate thinking about the shit any longer than necessary. I hate dreading the argument process. I hate the look in people's faces when they're like, you got me, but sometimes you can see them still fighting. They'll still fight and argue, and then whenever I'm faced with illogic and irrationality, and I just find it very depressing. Anyways, that's enough of me. That's good length for a video, 21 minutes. Doesn't take up too much of your time, and that's another thing that young people should know, is time is the most precious thing in the world next to health. Health is number one. You don't have your health, you don't got nothing. But time is number two, because you got a limited amount of both of those. Because oh boy, I'm not really up to this, but there's an old Buddhist tale that when the Buddha was a young dude, he was a rich guy living in a rich prince living in a mansion with a whole bunch of servants and stuff, so he was always sheltered from the realities of life. But one day he went out trotting about, looking around in the world, and he saw an old man, he saw a sick man, and he saw a dead man, and he knew that he was guaranteed to be 2 out of 3. You're going to be dead and you're going to be old. And so that put him supposedly on the path to try to find a way to get out of this mess we call life, and led him into monkhood and kind of renouncing his opulent rich guy life. But yeah, number one, health. Number two, time. So I don't like to wait. I don't have any. My health is shit, but I don't like to waste a lot of time with arguing with people and fighting with people and stuff like that, and a lot of acrimony and hostility and all that stuff. That's not for me, and that's probably why I avoid people so much. It's not that I can't talk to people, and that it's not like I'm a shy person necessarily. I just don't like to get involved with people and their nonsense, because the vast bulk of mankind is an irrational, hostile, feisty lot of fools. Present company accepted, of course. Anyways, yeah, the hat was good, at least. Man, you gotta love the hat. All right, I'll check in a couple of days, and we'll see y'all later. Live and be well. Bye-bye.